Shouldn't we know what we're talking about before we go?
I know what we're talking about before we go.
All right.
Welcome back to Embrace the Start podcast. I am your host, Brenda Valks. This is my co-host and good friend, Jeremy Wiens. Back with you again. Today, Jeremy has no idea what the topic is. I told him, but he forgot.
Something about listening.
Yep. It's a skill. It's a skill you need to practice. No, so our topic today, and I'm going to introduce the topic, and then we'll talk about how we're doing a little bit.
All right.
But the topic is you need to listen to others. And I kind of like that. I'm going to play with like what the title is actually going to be for the podcast, but that's the theme because so many people are like, don't listen to anybody. Do your own thing. Like, go silent for 6 months. That's a new big thing on social if you haven't noticed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Go silent for 6 months and come back a beast, jack, money, blah, whatever. And so my topic is you got to listen to other people. But before we dive in,
All right.
how you doing? What's going on?
Doing good. It's been a busy little while. The summer's been good. Can't complain. It's been a lot of fun. We've done some camping, some beaching, just some good family time, which has been awesome. And then also doing some work as well. That doesn't go away. And my men's group, just a few big things happening there that are coming up. So
let's talk about that for a second,
sure.
if we can.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, Embrace the Storm is all about helping husbands, fathers.
Yeah.
The men's mental health group that you started with Ryan is the same thing. And so let's talk. I want to talk about a couple of things.
Let's do it.
I just on the fly decided we're going to do this. So two things. One, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the men's mental health group? Are you still calling it men's mental health group?
We call it Southeast Men's Group.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're just a bunch of guys who get together. We have a speaker come in once a month. We meet once a month. We have a speaker come in, and what they'll do is they'll talk on a subject that we want, and we got some really good speakers lined up, and some speakers that have come, and our topics are really on point. We try to be very purposeful in what we're doing.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of good feedback from our group, and so we're consistent even through summer. I mean, we're like almost 20 people every time. So I mean, that's really good numbers, especially in summer. It's been really good just to see. Then from there we break into small groups, and we just have this time of just talking, and then having everybody else support each other. It's just that peer-to-peer of men just being able to talk about whatever's going on in their life. It's often overlooked, it's often missed, and
such a simple thing.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's not. And I was talking with somebody today, and they said that in their church there was a women's group, and I think they had just for young moms, like they had before school age children, right?
Yeah.
And they said like there's just something about that support group and all they're doing is getting together. They have a babysitter at the church that takes care of all the kids, and then the women all get together and they just have coffee and talk, and they're like, one of the biggest things is that peer-to-peer support group is so good.
Well, camaraderie, right?
Yep.
I think, like,
so you're not feeling alone is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and so I'm in the chat. I don't really pay attention or participate, but you know, because I came to that first meeting and signed up, so I'm in the group chat. And what I noticed, because I was scrolling through because of something else, and we'll talk about that in a second, but because the other day I was scrolling through, and what I realized is these guys have really created friendships. And I've met some of the guys, different ages, different demographics, from different places in life, but they really seem to connect.
Yeah, like you said, we are different guys, different ages, from different areas of the province coming, and we have people coming from all over, which is really good. And just that simple fact of you're not alone, that's one of the biggest things we could do for somebody. And
you know what? We hear it in social media. We see it on the news, hear it in different campaigns. It sounds dumb to just say the words, "You're not alone. Please call somebody." Because that's usually a tagline of
absolutely
like a suicide hotline or something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
But that should be before then. You know, it needs to be in the group like this where guys can make friendships. Like, you weren't trying to solve, by starting this group, you weren't trying to solve the world mental health problem.
Mm-mm.
You were just trying to give guys an outlet to get to know each other and realize they're not alone.
Yeah, and that's been a huge thing. And we've had a lot of different organizations and such reaching out to us. We're going to be partnering with one coming up soon to put on an event.
Spoiler alert.
Which is pretty exciting because we're not even
cool.
an off-profit. We're just a bunch of guys get together, right?
But the support you've had from the communities,
Yeah,
communities at large, has been tremendous.
And we're getting people from pretty good places that are asking us, so how do you do this? What are you doing? What's this?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's been a cool thing.
Cool.
And that's one of the people that reached out to us that we're going to be partnering with coming up, which will be coming. We'll talk about another time, but
big things coming.
Yeah, so we've had some really
that.
good things happening. So it's going to keep growing, and I think as we go into that, that's going to open up more doors for us, and who knows what that looks like? Maybe more chapters, more whatever.
Yeah.
But that'll be a future problem, but we'll work towards that.
I love future problems.
Yeah, and these are the problems that we're trying to really get to. We want bigger problems. We want better problems. We want problems that we're going to be able to dive into and figure out. Whereas,
well, and they say, what is it? They say new levels, new devils.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've heard that from
right?
guys like Bedros and all these different guys we follow online.
Yeah.
I think it's true because even if you think about your early career, like you started out as a grunt, not knowing what to do, regardless of where you work.
Yeah.
Started as a grunt, not knowing what to do, and then you get a little bit of comfort in what you do, and then you move to a different role, get some seniority. Now you're the senior guy, and you just have new challenges.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a very cool thing for a small organization. And I'm currently looking down at my phone because the next thing I want to talk about really quickly is my new friend,
Yeah.
Chris Chuckry.
Awesome guy.
Fantastic local guy. Northman breath exposure. I want to give him a shout out on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Northman breath exposure. Northman_breath_exposure on Instagram. The reason I want to do that is because the reason we were talking about mental health is because a couple of weeks ago, you invited me out, or told me that I was coming to one of
I asked if you were free. You said you didn't have anything up until you had booked, and that was it.
And that was that.
Yeah.
There were other words spoken, but essentially I showed up.
Yeah.
But what it was is our friend Chris was putting on a breathwork, sauna, cold plunge, therapy.
Yeah, we brought a boat for that reason. Yeah. It was...
And so the Southeast Men's Group brought Northman breathwork out to do an afternoon. And so we did cold plunge, sauna, breathwork. The breathwork was very cool. I've watched some of that online. I actually have a friend down in Florida who taught me a couple of different things as well, unsuccessfully because I suck at breathing, as funny as that sounds. But Chris was really good.
Yeah.
Patient, knowledgeable, and we had a great afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that the group is going, hey, we're booking in these speakers, we're booking in these experiences. It's not just get over it and move on with life, or go see your health professional and take some drugs, or whatever the case. Like you're really trying to help guys.
We're trying to make a difference, and not just be there as we're sympathetic towards men. We're going to give them. This is where you get to come to be a victim. We hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I really driven home right from the get-go was this isn't a men's group of sympathy. This is a men's group. We're going to be held to a higher standard. So we're going to raise our levels. We're going to grow in that. And what that looks like, no matter where you're at, you can always go up. So,
well, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up is, one, we haven't talked about it on the podcast,
right.
But two, what I really noticed sitting in the sauna with 5 other dudes at 100 degrees or whatever it was hot.
Yeah.
Every single guy there was talking about positive changes they were making in their life.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was talking about what their kids were up to, what their families were up to, positive changes they were making, cutting back on the drinking, hitting the weights again, all these things were coming up. And I think what's really cool is you and Ryan started this. You're a hard-charging entrepreneur that has big goals. Ryan is a firefighter that got sort of kicked down a little bit and has to work his way back, and he's successfully doing that. And so higher standards, you both hold yourselves to a higher standard, and the group tone is that same thing.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Like we're purposeful in how we're running it. We're not just willy nilly and trying to see what happens. We're
and even Chris on that Saturday, one of the guys that I was in rotation with for the cold plunge, he's like, I can't do it. I gotta get out. And Chris just was like, breathe, sit in it, don't get out, don't quit. And the guy did get out, and that's fine. No big deal.
Yeah.
But to be pushed, I think, is such a good thing for men.
Yeah.
Just to be held to a higher standard, do better, move forward. Yeah, I'm gonna do something cool soon that kind of plays into that. So,
okay.
Well, a couple of spoilers.
Yeah. Well, we also have check out Northman Exposure, like that. He has the Thursdays all through summer. If you're in Manitoba, if you're going, go check it out. Like he has some good stuff going on there.
I'm gonna do my darndest to remember to, down in the description on the YouTube and Spotify, make sure that part of that is going to be his link.
Yeah, let's do that.
To Instagram, to his business page.
Yeah.
Because, dude, just meeting,
such good stuff.
Great stuff. Also, Chris is just a great dude.
Just down to earth, simple, but just such a good guy.
And really wants to make a difference. Commercial over. Love you, Chris.
Yeah.
I want to take a couple minutes to talk about that. I think it's really important.
No, I appreciate that.
Really, really important. I think what you and Ryan, like, I haven't seen what's been going on since that first meeting, other than talking to you a bit. But
one of the coolest things, though, we talk about leveling up is we were talking about our problems.
Yeah.
How we want to level up our problems, right?
Yeah.
The problems in the group as a whole now, in general, have shifted. Which I've really noticed is we're just having different problems than we had before, and that's great because now the conversation has changed from
we're not just staying here, we're working on this and we're going here.
It is, I don't know how to do this, but like, I need to figure out how to do this, right? And so instead of just I don't know, there seems to be that driven determination of I'm going to figure this out. Also, and with my brothers beside me, we can do this. Right?
I was just going to say, with the mastermind principle, Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind principle, put 20 dudes in a room, Jeremy doesn't have the answer, but Alex does, or Matt does, or Bob does, and I'm just making names up, but like you know, Bob and Doug McKenzie have the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Jeremy doesn't know.
Yeah.
But one of the 20 guys probably will know the answer.
Yeah.
Right? And whether it's how to cut down a tree, or whether it's how to have a hard conversation in a relationship, whatever, you put 20 guys in a room,
you'll figure it out.
Chances are you'll figure it out.
Yeah. So
I love that a lot. Transitioning into our topic.
Hold on. How you been? We jumped straight into that. Let's go.
So first of all, Jeremy, I'm just going to shout him out here. Made me a cup of coffee. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I was nodding off, falling asleep. When you have a long commute, dude, I don't know what it is. It takes it out of you.
It sure does, yeah.
And I love driving, but when you're done, especially some of the construction on the highway. So thank you. I am really good overall. Like, I know we were talking about some challenges I can't talk about on camera, but I am really good. Like, hopeful for the future, uncertain about the present, but really ready to push forward and do some cool things.
Awesome.
And so I can't say much more than that other than it's good. You know, my wife and kids are awesome.
Yeah.
Summer's been good to us. The boys have been in the pool like you would not believe this year. Growing like weeds, which makes me sad. As a dad.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, it's good, man. Just pushing forward, moving forward 1% at a time.
Yeah.
But it's been good. Now enough about me. If you guys haven't noticed the theme, if you listen to this more than one time, I don't really like talking about myself. Sometimes Jeremy puts the screws to me and we do an episode where it's just him asking me questions. Makes me uncomfortable, which is probably why he does it. For his amusement.
Yeah.
So on the topic of men's mental health, Southeast Men's Group and the Mastermind Principle, our topic today is listen to other people. And so this came to me because I was having a conversation with Chris, and hopefully he's cool with us talking, but I'm sure he will be. Chris, if you listen to this podcast and you hate it, I'll delete it. But no, we're not. No, we're not. Jeremy says no. But we were talking, and he just affirmed a couple of things in me. And I've had other people affirm those things, you being one of them. And just about, you know, being positive, being an encourager, a few other things. And sometimes people see things in you that your stupid brain can't see itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, you know, issues with how you look, you have mental issues with how good you are, your confidence level, and I say I'm talking to myself here. Like, you have confidence, I've got confidence issues, I have had confidence issues, working on confidence issues, self-confidence I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sort of the self-worth conversation that goes on in our head. Like sometimes I joke about the fact that, you know, you wouldn't last 2 seconds if you realize the stories that were going on in my head about myself. And it just really, really hit me the other day, this idea that we do need to listen to other people, because there's this movement out there that, you know, I was prefacing earlier, that don't talk to other people, don't tell people your dreams, don't listen to what other people say, just, you know, carry on your path.
Yeah.
Right? Which there is a place for that, for sure. And we talked about your journey in exactly that. You know, people that mean well trying to push you off into other directions. So it just, with some of the conversations I've had recently personally, it just made me realize how important it is that sometimes listening to what other people say about you and your journey should be actually visited, considered, journaled, what have you. Really, really thought about. Not everybody, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but there is something to be said for that. Because I think that other people in your life, good people in your life, can see you better than you can see yourself at times.
Well, what's that old saying? It's, if you want to go,
Oh yes.
if you want to go,
If
faster.
if you
If you
want
want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go
far,
far,
go with
go
others.
with others, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So that 6 months of doing it all on your own, 6 months of disappearing and all that stuff. There's an element where, you know what, maybe you need to actually
100%.
cut things out, and maybe you need to actually discipline yourself in some
Yeah.
of these ways. No, nothing wrong with that. But that's not going to work for the long run. If you don't surround yourself with good people,
Yeah.
and
High caliber people.
high caliber people that are going to speak life into you, people
Yeah.
that are going to see something that you don't see, and that might be a blessing, it might be a warning, it might be like, hey, did you know this? Well, if you're starting a business and you don't know anything really about it,
Yes.
and to have somebody say, well, actually, like when I started real estate, I interviewed 5 places, 4 of them said, oh yeah, you make 150, 200,000, no problem.
In your first year.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't.
It's that old sales gambit. I've had those conversations.
Yeah, and then I had the one that I ended up working with said, oh, you can make nothing, it depends on your work ethic. Right? And it's like, oh, well, there you go.
And that's the office you went to work for.
Yeah, that's the one that sold me, because there's an honesty factor about that, right? And so I appreciated that. So
all commission only jobs should go, you might make 0.
yeah, 0's a chance.
Right?
Like it's a real.
Stop telling people you make
opportunity.
$100,000 a year.
Yeah, and so going quiet, there's a place for that. But if you really want to go for the long haul, you got to surround yourself with people that are worth listening to.
Yeah, and that was where I wanted to go with this podcast, was just, I think a good exercise, and you know, I'll say the exercise, you say your piece, and we could just be done with this podcast.
Yeah.
Like with this episode. But I think that if you really took time to journal on your phone in the Notepad app, or in an actual physical journal.
Pen and paper, baby.
I love both. I
Yeah.
do both. I'm a huge Notion guy. On my phone, it's an app. Like your OneNote, just way better.
Fish. I don't really use OneNote a whole lot.
But just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
But I also like I have my journal. You guys have seen it. Like, I love that thing. But if you just journaled out things that people have said positively to you over the years, just and you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, listeners out there. Those things that really stick out to you. Like someone said something, someone wrote a letter. It might have even been a offhand comment, but it stuck with you because it really spoke to your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Pause for a minute. You know those moments. Journal those all out. I guarantee you, because this has been true for me, there is some form of common thread that you can pull throughout the moment. And whatever that is, I don't wonder, and this is me talking out loud, so this is where I want you to jump in, but I don't wonder if that's God's purpose for your life. Never mind the money making, never mind the relationships, never mind the friendships, never mind anything else. Just whatever that common thread is, perhaps that's your purpose.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that, right? I think we can get very caught up in what we're seeing, in just in that in the moment of what we're all feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes taking that step back and, like you said, that's a very good thing to do, is take a step back and say, hey, look, excuse me, I've been told by this mentor here, this, my boss over there said, actually that lines up with this, and actually this friend over there said this. None of them know each other, but they're all saying the same thing that they're seeing in me.
And they may be saying different things, but they potentially are saying the same thing.
Right, but if you break it down, if you really look at what they're saying, like, you know, it's just like,
yeah,
that's something that really can play an impact on your life. And how does that do that, right? And why wouldn't that be God sharing and showing you different moments, right? And the other thing is, if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I haven't had these moments, I haven't had that. And if you believe in God, if you do, like, take a moment and just say, God, show me something, bring something to memory of this, right? And actually sit there and just spend time to think, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing the things that we can do when we actually stop and actually think. Thinking is just overrated. It's pushed off to the side because we all have our phones. We can just pick it up and we can get distracted by that. We don't have to think anymore. It does it for us. But when we stop and actually think for ourselves,
yeah, the
amount of clarity we can get, the amount of wisdom in that, for the most part, is outstanding.
I've started in the last couple months. There's a podcast I listen to on the way to work. It's usually 5 to 8 minutes long. And it's a short devotional type podcast for me.
Right.
Joby Martin on Undaunted Life. You can check it out. The Daily Blade is what it's called. But I listen to that, and sometimes I listen to some scripture through the Bible app because you can do the audio version right after that. Like right now I'm going through a couple of Proverbs. But I've just, after that's done, I don't turn music on, I don't turn another podcast on for a while. And I just kind of sit in what I just heard,
mm-hmm.
and let my thoughts just kind of go and pray. And sometimes I don't pray and I just let my thoughts go. And yeah, sometimes you end up thinking about work, or you end up thinking about dinner later, or all these things. But just, I sit in that silence. And there's something, you know, the reason I started is because I heard a gentleman, an older gentleman, talk about how, you know, the older he gets, the more he finds joy out of sitting on his back porch, having a cigar, and just thinking about life. Just contemplating things, you know. And this is a hardworking guy. But that's just what he was talking about. And so I've started doing that, and you'd be amazed at where your brain goes with some silence.
Oh, it's so crazy how far it can go. And if you're in a good way, you can go a good place, right?
Yeah.
Like, people like, oh, I don't want to get stuck in my head because that's not a good place to be. Well,
which is true.
Right, but there's also the other side of it. Why don't you create that safe space in your head that you can go to? Like, why not try to work to make it into a safe space? Now, I'm one where mine used to not be a good place to go.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And yet, over time, I've been very careful, for the most part, of what I allow into my mind. Especially, I've really narrowed into that over the last few months, even more so.
It's funny you say that. Me too.
And that alone,
yeah,
has made my mind a way better place. So if I also go into my head, now I'm thinking of, well, either could be listening to, in my head I'm going to be thinking of, okay, what did we learn to go to church this Sunday? What did that podcast say about this, about business? What did that podcast say about religion? What did that guy say about XYZ? What did, like, and you're learning to replace those negative thoughts with actually.
You know what I noticed about that? Because I've been doing that too. And, you know, my brain a lot of times in recent years, you know, is less, because I've been working hard and I've been doing kind of live on the podcast, working hard on my self-worth and self-confidence and things.
Right.
But a lot of times my brain goes to, like, everybody dies and everything burns to the ground.
Right.
You know, like that's, my brain just kind of goes there, even when I'm wandering, you know?
Yeah.
But what I noticed is, the more good I put in, the more good I get out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. And so just changing up what I listen to, changing up what conversations I'm listening to, podcast, music, all these things, what I'm allowing in my space, what I'm allowing to wreck my peace, P-E-A-C, what I'm allowing there. And what I've noticed is I have more mental energy to go, what do I need to learn about? What do I want to learn about? Like right now, I'm listening to a podcast on direct-to-consumer products, you know, so like supplements or clothing or this kind of thing. Because I'm curious how that world works, because I've never been part of that world, and I love business.
Right.
So I found a podcast, 2 hours long, some good guys that, you know, I kind of know their names from business.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to this 2 hour podcast, and what I found is my brain now has more mental energy to spend on learning, because I'm not wrapped up in all this negative garbage in my head.
Yeah. Also, that translates into what conversations are you actually having in person.
Yep.
Like, because we can get caught on, we're in fantasy land and podcasts and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what is that doing for us in person? Are your conversations staying the same way?
Yes.
Or are you growing in them, right? Like, there's an element where...
We talked about that in the last episode. Are you learning? Or are you learning and taking action?
Yeah.
Because I can learn a whole bunch, and I've learned a whole bunch, not necessarily taking action on something.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you go back to listen to our last podcast, which is now live. I don't know when I'm going to drop this one, but probably next week.
Yeah.
But go back and listen to the last episode I posted. You are being prepared, because we talk a ton about that.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. We can live on podcasts, especially if you commute. You can live in that world, but then nothing changes.
Yeah.
And what I found for me actually is a little bit that, but in a good way. So what I found is I get into my head about the life I want to be living, the dreams I have, all these things, while I'm listening to some of this stuff. Which sucks, by the way, because then all of a sudden you realize you missed 4 minutes of a good podcast. But anyways, what I've realized is then I go back to whatever I'm doing that day, right? Work, etc.
Yeah.
But by playing in that future in my mind has also done something for my mental energy.
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say, I guess, in a very long-winded way is negative garbage in your head, in my head, takes up more mental energy than the positive does.
Well, it's easier to fall into. Like, it's always that old adage of if somebody's on a table versus you're on the floor, which is easier, pull somebody up or pull somebody down.
100%.
It's always easier to go down.
Yeah.
So it's learning to build that muscle to not let that happen. The amount of times even this last week, I think I've heard it three times for sure, where somebody came up to me and was like, I don't get how you get up and go to the gym every morning. It's summer. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why would you just sleep in and go a little bit later? Like, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's a muscle that's built. So it's a muscle that's a memory. It's something that I just get up and I go to the gym and that's what I just do. I don't think about it. It's just, I just naturally get
But there are other things you do think about.
Right. So, but to my point was with that, the whole with going to a positive place, and not positive as an ignorant of everything else,
No, heck no.
but positive in the sense of you can look at everything as an obstacle or an opportunity,
Yep.
right? So you choose what you want to look at it as.
Yep.
And so when you kind of get that mindset of really learning to grow in that,
Yeah.
it's a game changer in that sense. And I'm still, not that I've arrived at all, but I'm still really working towards that and purposefully.
I think though the cool thing is when you get to the point where you just go to the gym, to me it's like you just brush your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no thought. Your toothbrush, for 99% of us, some of you are weird, but for 99% of us, the toothbrush is in the same spot, the toothpaste is in the same spot. You brush your teeth at the same time every single day. You shower at the same time every day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so as you start to build some of these habits, some of these disciplines, they become the same thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's eating right, whether it's reading your Bible, whatever your thing is, right? Breath work. Like, as soon as you create these disciplines, eventually it becomes just something you do.
Yeah.
And it's just one more thing your brain gets to tick off is, we don't need to expend energy on this. We don't need to expend energy on this.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason why I pick my clothes the night before. I try and prep my lunch the night before. All these things. Prep my coffee. Because it's one less thing my brain has to do in the morning.
Yeah.
And so prep my water. All these things. And so I think that building new habits is a great way to work on that mental energy. And the reason why we went down this rabbit hole is because we do that sometimes, but also because I think that if you think in the context of trying to figure out some of these things people are saying about you positively, those positive things people are talking about, you need the mental energy to sit in it, figure out what those things are. And these are some of the things we're talking about: building habits, journaling, what kind of things you're putting into your brain that will free up the space for you to have the time and energy to put into that conversation with yourself.
So what are 3 things that you would find in, if you're talking, we're back to talking to listen to others, what are 3 things you find in characteristics of who you listen to?
It's a great question. And so,
or 5 characteristics, whatever you want to
yeah.
I thought 3 is a good number.
Yeah, we like 3s. So number 1 is trusted.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not just going to listen to, computer man 1234 on the internet, because I don't know him from a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So they have to be trusted. They have to have life experience. And
what do you mean by life experience?
So I'll give you 2 examples.
Sure.
And life experience, some of that is very different than me, right? I like that. Like we're not on the same path. So one of them is an older gentleman, and he has been all around the world. He has worked in many different capacities as a social worker, as a writer, as a pastor, as all these different things. He's known me since I was, yay high to a grasshopper kind of thing.
Right.
And he spoke something into me when I was 22, 23 that obviously was touching, but it was more like, that's really nice, thank you, and whatever, as a 22-year-old, as we move on with life.
Right.
So someone's known me since I was a baby. They're trusted. Their life experience is vast. Like, when I'm talking life experience, I don't want someone that's been in... Yeah, let's talk about where we live for a second. Someone that has grown up here, just been here in the circle, never gone anywhere, never had done anything. They don't have a good periscope, maybe, to see different things in the world, to see how different pieces fit together. I'm not saying they can't speak into your life, just I would find it difficult to listen to them. Right. Because they've been sheltered and very limited on scope. Right?
I challenge that one, but
we should.
Yeah.
The other person I mentioned already, Chris, the gentleman that runs the cold exposure sauna, Northman breathwork, Northman breath exposure. trying to get it right for him.
Yeah.
Again, super different than I am, a little bit older than I am, not much, and vastly wide life experience, right? And I don't even know him that well. Like, that was the first time I met him, right?
Right.
And so, like, I saw him that first group,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, a year ago. But this is the first time, like, I actually shook his hand and talked to him, kind of thing. And so these are the kind of people I'm talking to, right?
Well, I'm going to challenge you on the experience one about. I don't think that they have to have a shared life experience to do that, and I don't think that they have to be traveled. I think there's a lot of people that are unless you're looking
I'm
like
not, I wasn't talking
happening.
travel. I wasn't talking travel.
Okay, I thought you.
I meant no.
You said
Oh,
grew
no.
up here and stayed here.
Yeah,
and,
sorry.
And don't have a periscope of the or view of the world, right? So that's where I was thinking.
Just like not necessarily traveled,
okay,
but just different life experiences.
right.
If you stayed in the same little bubble your whole life,
Okay, that sense.
you don't have the you don't have the experience, the life experience, the experiences in life to know how other people live, to see other things. And again, not travel necessarily. Like, I'm not talking about someone who's gone to India on vacation or something. I just mean like have you done some things? Have you gone through some things? You know?
Well, I think no matter where you are, even if you have your own little bubble, you've gone through some things. Like I know kind of the thing that kind of came to mind when you were talking about that is I know I grew up with a pastor's son, and he was always a pastor's son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up in the church. He did like he grew up, and he took the mantle. Now he's a pastor. Like he's never really had battles that with alcohol, with drugs, with porn, with like all these other things.
But he's met a ton of people.
He's met a ton of people, and he hasn't dealt with a lot of those things. But he can talk from his experience of like, no, I didn't do those things. This is how it's benefited me from not doing those things, right?
Yep.
So there's a different level, I think, of not necessarily having experience, but you can have an impact on somebody's life, right?
For sure. And I, to be fair, I'm probably not articulating well what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But we're in agreement.
Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah. There's
Just making sure.
Yeah. Like, it's just, I just don't want to listen to someone that hasn't done things in life, hasn't seen other people in life.
Yeah.
You know, because, it's just one of those things where I look at it and go, if you've only hung out with the same 5 people your whole life, you've never really traveled outside your little circle, and you've never been empathetic to others outside of that little circle, I don't know if I can really listen to what you have to say.
Well, and I think building, what's your next? Is that
was, I mean, you wanted to dive into that, but that's so a little bit older.
Yeah.
Because I think there needs to be some, especially for men, there needs to be some aged wisdom there.
Right.
Someone that has some life experience. Again, doesn't need to be travel, just life experience.
Yeah.
Because wisdom comes from experience.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in men, we typically do things the hard way.
Yeah.
To figure it out.
Yeah.
And then number 3 has to have some level of people skills. And you're going to help me articulate this one, because this one I'm not going to do justice. But because you're very good at this, like, you have to be able to read somebody. Because, again, the great example is Chris. He doesn't know me very well, but he's very good at reading people. And so he picked things up in me when we were talking. So he was able to speak into that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, transversely, the older gentleman that has known me since I was a kid, well, he's just known me since I was a kid, so he's seen my journey from kid to adulthood kind of thing. So those are two different sort of spectrums, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the third one, if you wanted to throw in kind of different places this works, the third one would be you kind of sitting in the middle of both of those. But you've known me for a good amount of time. We talk about pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And so you get to speak into my life because you know me well. We've known each other for a little bit. You have life experience. And so I listen to you.
Right.
So to me, those are kind of the three sort of spectrums of people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I
also, Jeremy's older than I am, so.
Yeah, and you're going to challenge that because, like, even,
Please.
yeah, I think I go to Springs Church.
Mm-hmm.
The pastor there is 29 years old.
Yep. Which is hard for me because he speaks well.
He speaks well. He doesn't have all this life experience. He didn't make all these bad choices.
Nope.
But he has this leadership, this calling. That's what it is. And he can,
yeah.
And he has this calling on his life, and he will speak it. Like, I get more out of his messages than I have for years because it just hits so much deeper. It just hits different. And I just connect with him in that degree, yeah. Right? So I think there's an element where I don't know if age as much as maturity plays a factor.
That's a better way of doing it. I also, while you were talking, was kind of beating up my own point a little bit in my head because, how many times, and not everyone might understand this, but how many times have one of your kids said something to you?
Absolutely.
That you're like,
oh, that hit, yeah.
That hit, like, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like, you see yourself in that.
Yeah. So there's a few. So that's something just to keep in mind of, like, so I get the heart of your point is you don't want just somebody just to leave it open, just anybody.
Yes.
You want somebody that's going to be that actually can speak life into you. That's going to be there.
I just don't want people to think like anybody should talk and speak into their life.
Oh.
Anybody can have access to your mental energy, your peace, because it's very important to protect that, like we were talking about. I also think back to and go back and listen to some of these podcasts, but when you and I have talked, you had some really amazing people in your life who love you very much tell you shouldn't do things.
Yeah.
Right? And try and push you in a different direction, even though the right direction was the direction you went in.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very careful who you choose to listen.
Well, and I think, now I'm going to say this, but I think having people who are speaking to you, like if you're just talking about going towards a goal, like let's say let's do business because that's a good
It's an easy one.
Yeah, or actually let's go to gym, right?
Even easier.
Even easier. I have the option of going to somebody who is fit, works out, diet's on point. They can see that they put effort into everything. They can see that they do that.
Yeah.
Right? Or I have the option of going to somebody who's standing there eating a bag of chips and crumbs all over themselves, and they're just like, well, sit at the restaurant and they're like, well, when you work out, you should be doing this. Oh, and you really got to watch your diet.
And they might even be right.
And they're dead right.
Yeah.
They know all the they have all the knowledge.
Yeah.
But the one who's actually doing it, and living the life you want to lead.
Yes.
There's a lot.
I was wondering if that's where you were going to go.
Yeah. So follow the one that's actually in the direction. Like when I did real estate, I got told so many times like, it was a mistake.
And that's what I was talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about that is it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like I didn't listen to them.
So maybe for those listening to other people, journal some of the negative stuff you've gotten as well. And even if there's a thread there, you don't necessarily need to listen to it, but it might be an interesting exercise to see if some of the things you perceive as negative are maybe people actually watching out for you, or if they're people just trying to love you and wanting you to play safe.
Well, and like real estate's a scary one because there is no safety net. There is no nothing, right? So I understood the heart of people who were saying that, but I also
Dan Martell talks about that quite often, right? Where he goes, listen, the people that love you the most are usually the ones that give you the worst advice.
Yeah, because it's not their intention. It's just they're scared to do what you're going to do.
That's correct.
So if you do that work, you grow the balls, or you step out, or you do those things, well, now you're the first. Now they're all watching.
Yeah.
And if you fail,
Yeah.
chances are they'll be like, "Well, I warned you about this." But if you succeed, they're not going to say that. They're going to be like, "Wow, you surprised me." And maybe some will, but for the most part, it's you are opened. You have potential inside you to do great things. So,
what are you going to do with it?
who are you listening to that's going to help you draw out that potential? Who are believing you? Who's instructing you? Who's speaking into you? Be mindful of that.
So I think to help the audience, I want to tell you my thing, which is I've been told several times in my life, I'm a great encourager of men. And I've been told that so many times, some recently, some when I was younger, some when I was really young.
Yeah.
Like just, my positivity and things like that. And it's really been something I've been ruminating on, marinating on, whatever the word is, really thinking it through. Like, what does that really mean? Not what does encouraging mean. I know what that means. But what does being told by so many people I'm an encourager, what does that mean for my life? What does that mean for my purpose, my message? And I'm not talking about putting it out on social, which we're doing anyway. I'm talking like, what am I giving the world? When they put me in the ground, what did I leave?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking a lot about that lately, and that's what I'm talking about with you need to listen to people.
Yeah.
Because too many of us, men, husbands, fathers, we live in our head, even if you don't admit it. You live in your head. Most of the time it's negative. And it's not even necessarily negative against you. It's money stress, bill stress, relationship stress, family stress. And a lot of that is, in my opinion, good stress.
Yeah.
How am I going to make more money for my family? How am I going to be a better husband, a better father? How am I, and on the transverse, some of that does translate into, I'm not doing enough. I'm not a good enough father. I'm not a good enough, and that's where you start to go down the negative rabbit hole, which needs to be worked on. But when you live in your head too much, you tend to sort of put yourself on an island, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
A tremendous amount. So I'm not going to go into that, but you tend to live on an island and you don't listen to other people. And sometimes that forest gets real thick and you can't see the forest through the trees kind of thing. And so you need other men in your life, good people in your life.
Yeah.
To call you to more.
Yeah, and I think opening yourself up to be just opening yourself up to allow people to speak into the right people to speak into you is huge.
Yeah.
I met with a gentleman this last week and we just had a conversation. I just sat there the whole time while I was talking, like, this guy just needs to know he's worth something.
Yes.
He's not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
He needs to know that he has value. He needs to know that he matters, right?
Yeah.
And so as we're sitting there, we're talking, I just started speaking that over him again and again, like the whole conversation. I realized that like 2 minutes into our conversation. So we met for an hour and I spent probably 55 minutes. The only thing, my whole point of that 55 minutes of talking there, it wasn't just me talking, but like, of our conversation, was all I care about is driving home the fact that he matters, he is valued, he's needed, he's loved.
Yes.
And just to have that, because he wasn't feeling that. Now, I could say that this is my first time meeting him, so I don't know what validity that holds.
But sometimes, I've listened to too many guys' stories on podcasts, like bigger name guys, or bigger name in the circles that I like to listen to, who they were going to do something stupid. They were going to do something stupid. We all know what I'm talking about. But one little phone call at the right moment, a dog jumping up on their lap at the right moment, all these little things.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what power your words have on somebody.
Yeah.
You don't know what it means to them.
Yeah.
You don't know, Jeremy doesn't know what the impact of his words have on this guy. You might have just saved this guy's life.
It's the small things that matter. You don't know that it could be something you're thinking, oh, this was a nothing thing. To them, it was everything we need to hear. For them, it was that thing that broke everything inside that said, wait, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Wait, I'm
Yeah.
worthy of this?
And sometimes too, and this is kind of a tangent, but sometimes just say, hey man, I really like your watch.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a guy just needs to be noticed.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, you're awesome, you're loved, you're seen, like 55-minute conversation. Sometimes it's as simple as, I see you, nice watch.
That's well, even just there, I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Or like, hey man, hope you're having a good day. Like just to a stranger I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
out on the sidewalk or in a store or whatever. Like just, hey man, hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
Hey, nice watch. I've even gone up to a dude in Walmart and been like, really like your hat.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's wearing a really classy fedora in Walmart. It was very juxtaposed
Yeah.
in the situation. But just, we don't know what those little things mean.
Exactly.
And so, people have said things to you, set you on a course mentally for your purpose in life, and you don't know what that is. Because you haven't taken the time to really sit in it, think it through, journal it out, and you should. You really, really should.
Yeah.
This last couple of weeks, thinking this through has really meant a lot to me. And so I hope that as we kind of wind down on time, man, time flies when we have good
It
conversations.
does, yeah.
I want people to really, really take home that they should dig into what are some of those things throughout their life that really spoke to their soul when people said them to them.
Yeah.
You know, journal it out. It's going to be different for everybody. We don't know what it's going to be,
It looks different, yeah.
but it really matters. And I think it would really matter to you if you sat down and journaled, figured out what those things were. It could take you far. And also, sit with it.
Yeah.
Be open to what it is. I think a lot of times we're not open because we're busy. We close off.
And if you're thinking to yourself, oh man, nobody's speaking to me, nobody's doing this, maybe then that's a good sign, a good indicator that you need to get people in your life that actually speak life into you. Because or else you are alone in that. That sucks. So you got to find a way to find other people to let them in. And the scary part about that is you're going to have to be a little bit open. You're going to have to be a little bit vulnerable. And it's scary,
Uncomfortable.
but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
So
Let's end with that. Let's just say we want you to do two things. Number one, sit and journal. See where it takes you. Even if you come up with none of those moments because you've got a hard background and you're really feeling low, journal anyway. Journal how you're feeling about what you're hearing. Journal about the fact you're not hearing anything, feeling anything, whatever. And number two, audit your circle.
yeah,
Who are you spending your most time with? And legitimately write it down. Like, you know, I spend 12 hours a week with Bob, and I spend 100 hours a week with my wife, and I spend whatever it is.
Yeah.
And these aren't necessarily bad people, but maybe it's time you add another good man into your life.
yeah,
Another good group like Southeast Men's Group would be a good example of just finding someone to be with that really wants to do big things in life. A group of men that's trying to be better. And it doesn't have to be a group, but one or two other guys in your life that are really trying to go somewhere. That's what I have for you. Jared, close us out.
yeah. I think on that, surround yourself with good people. Listen to the good.
Yeah.
Take the bad with a grain of salt, but pay attention if there's wisdom in there. But just really keep thinking about how you can grow.
Yeah.
Keep thinking about how you can get out of this, from this place to the next.
Yeah.
Find ways to level up. Find men that encourage you. Find people that are there for you, and just grow
Move forward daily.
every day, 1%.
We love you. See you next time.